Found out something interesting. They ain't my kids.
Hi everyone, welcome to Shimmer Girl Talks. I typically don't like to share the types of videos that I'm going to share today, but it is something that is sadly prevalent probably within human nature, humankind, or whatever, and that is men finding out that they are not the father of their children, either after the death of the wife, somebody needs a kidney, like in this man's case. Well, he doesn't need the kidney, his brother. These DNA tests and stuff like that. So let me share the first video.
I have been married for 51 years. Got 2 sons, 42 and 40. Damn deadbeats. I'm still supporting the little boogers. Needed to take a test to see if any of us had a kidney good enough for my brother. Found out something interesting. They ain't my kids.
I can't even imagine what would go through a man's mind after something like that. And I probably won't share it here, but there was this meme that I got offline. This was weeks ago because I wasn't sure if I was going to share that particular meme, but it would tie in here where you have this young woman saying something about if a woman has a child outside of, if she's married and she has a child by a man other than her husband, then the husband needs to step up and take care of that child because women go through so much in marriages and stuff like that. And obviously, I think that is trifling as heck. And no one deserves to be lied to. That's the final bottom line, is you're being lied to. And 9 times, 10 times out of 10, this man's wife knew that those children were not his or suspected or something. And if the shoe was on the other foot, just like if this was a woman who had been betrayed, and I would say, well, I want to know the man's side of the story. In this case, I also want to know his wife's side of the story. Not to take up for her in any way, shape, or form. But I just want to know, did he try to reform a hoe? Was she a woman of ill repute and he got blinded by her beauty or her booty and he looked past red flags? Just a guess. Because if he found out after 51 years that his children were not his, that would make that around 1973-ish. And that was right off the heels of Summer of Love and Free Love and Psychedelic and all of that type stuff. And so we know during that time it was the sexual revolution. There was the pill and deletion of babies and all of that type stuff. And a lot of women during that time were free spirits. And oftentimes I do like to, uplift the olden days, as it were. But we all know that there were some loosey-gooseys back then as well. So it would be interesting to know her side of the story and why he chose this particular woman. Was she a quote-unquote good girl? Or was she always the type of woman who would have children on her husband and then pass them off as her husbands? So I'm going to share one more clip.
Of course, the only good thing is, I know it's not my fault that those 2 idiots got dumped into this world. Hell, I thought they took after their mother. Instead, they take after the plumber or the postman or the milkman, or yeah, there were milkmen back when they came around. I mean, God only knows.
I do believe that there should be mandatory DNA tests before the father signs the birth certificate. The thing is, it's going to end up opening a whole new can of worms. And we already know that a lot of children often finds themselves in danger because of lies of a mother. You just recently, and I'm not going to, share it here, but you just recently had this woman delete her baby because her boyfriend didn't want a child. This was her baby from another relationship. So I think even though I agree with mandatory DNA testing, I think it could potentially put a lot of children in harm's way. And because a lot of times you may have women having children with a man that they know ain't no good, but because he made her body feel good and she was just with him for sexual whatever, and then she finds this good man that's going to step into the role and she could pass that child off as his. And we do know that that happened back then. But also you had men back then who knew the kid wasn't theirs, but they were still raised in a way to step up to the plate. But the women were still, even though they might have been trifling and hoish and everything, they still had a wife mindset back then. But I just wanted to share this really fast. I didn't want the video to be this long, but I just think that that was disgusting for this man to find out after all of these years that these were not his children. That's got to be painful, so painful. And it's painful for the children as well because they feel lied to by their mother. So the husband, the father, he's not the only victim here. The children are also the victim. To be calling some man daddy all these years and you find out that he's not your father. And what's my topic? Tell me what you think about mandatory DNA testing, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.